I need to meet an atheist that can push back on me.
Okay.
Because right now the argument is, it seems unstoppable.
Go on. Lay it on me. Sorry, I'm jumping because I'm excited.
It is very unlikely that we have a naturalistic explanation because of the level of specified complexity. It's not leaves saying Joe is a great guy who's wearing a red jacket. It's DNA that can be read from left to right and 3D, and all of this complexity which explains our structure, our behavior, our ability to reason. All of these things for me jump out and call out for an inference which makes much more sense in my worldview of there being a supernatural creator.
You can't do science without
Those
that.
are different things.
Okay,
Yeah.
anyway, that's not my argument.
Yeah, sure.
And I'll be honest with you, my hat's true.
Yeah.
I don't really care about atheists.
Okay.
But
Well, surely you care about atheists, but just not about their atheism. Surely that's what you mean.
No, what I mean is, I don't care whether you believe in God or not.
Okay, yeah, sure.
But what
Fine.
but what I care about, if you think my belief in God is irrational, this is what I care about.
Yeah, sure.
So if an atheist wants to say my belief in God is irrational, this is something I care about.
Okay.
Because for me, atheists, you don't know anything. You got nothing to offer, nothing to invite. You're pointless. But it's true.
Well, but presumably you mean on the question of the existence of God, because lots of atheists have discovered like really interesting truths.
I disagree. Anyway,
What?
of course we're talking about creator and everything, isn't it? Okay.
Like an atheist has never discovered an interesting
I don't
truth
believe it.
ever.
No, as a standard of, for example, morality and stuff like that. Anyway,
I mean, yeah.
but this is not my argument. My arguments are very simple. I'm not academic, right?
Yeah, fine.
So my arguments are pretty street. So
Okay, yeah.
you might bamboozle me with terminology. So if I,
I
don't
won't
understand,
do that. I won't do that.
But if you do, it's not a problem. Okay.
Well, what I mean is I'll explain myself. It's fine.
Okay. So you believe in gravity?
Yeah.
Why?
Look, classic inductive arguments, like when things are kind of not supported by other objects and they're allowed to float freely, then they fall down.
Well, you can't see
Smash
it.
a trap.
You can't see it or nothing.
You can see its effects and you can infer
See its
it,
effects.
right? It's like it's like a mouse in your cupboard nibbles at your food. But you never see the mouse, but it's nibbling and it's like leaving its little shits everywhere, and it's there. You never see it, but you know it's there.
Okay. So what you're saying is you don't need to see the thing to know its existence.
Yeah, correct.
So the effects of a thing can prove the existence of a thing.
yeah.
You don't need to see the thing. Alhamdulillah.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. And you understand obviously the term.
Sorry, really quick. Do you encounter atheists frequently that deny that?
What's that?
That deny that thing you just said? Do you encounter atheists that say, no, to know something exists, you have to see it?
Yeah, today.
Oh no.
That's fucking stupid.
No, I've had some weird
that's stupid,
atheists.
yeah, that's
No, I know. To be honest with you, most atheists are getting a chokehold. So
Okay.
I'm hoping. I'll
That's not
explain.
going to happen to me, mate. But go on.
Yeah, we'll see. Because my argument that I've been employing steamrolls everyone I speak to, and I've been saying to my boy Ben here, I need to meet an atheist that can push back on me.
Okay.
Because right now the argument is, it seems unstoppable.
Go on. Lay it on me. Sorry, I'm jumping because I'm excited, but also because I'm cold.
Fantastic.
Go ahead. Yeah, it's chilly.
So,
it's chilly.
okay, so my claim or my belief is based upon this. And this is the other thing as well. When I say to atheists, I don't care what you believe, but I care if you believe my belief is irrational.
Yeah, sure.
The reason I say that is because I moved from a salesman to a consumer.
Okay.
So I'm no longer trying to convince you.
Yeah.
So your opinion is irrelevant.
Okay.
But
Well, you are trying to convince me now, right?
No.
I think you're about to give an argument, aren't you?
No, I'm trying to. Do you believe my belief in God is irrational?
Depends why you believe it. Depends why.
Oh, you think there's rational reasons to believe in God?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What
So-
rational reasons are there to believe in God?
Well, so I mean, if a theist had a religious experience where
Oh, come on, that's not rational.
Well, no, hang on a second. Well, let me develop it fully. Had a religious experience where they really believe, and it's like as vivid as basically any experience they've ever had, that they encountered God directly in some way, like that God spoke to them, or God like revealed Himself to them in some way that's like very direct, as sometimes happens. I find it difficult to say they're being irrational. I mean, so the reason that I say this, right, is because I have quite a thin, like for me, rationality is quite a low bar. Basically, like, to be rational as far as I care about it, it's just like don't contradict yourself, or at least like don't have beliefs that entail that your other beliefs are unlikely, things like this. So you could reason backwards in a way that's genuinely rational to some, to believe, well, not, yeah, to belief in God. But I just wouldn't. I would disagree with your starting point. But just because I disagree with someone doesn't make them irrational.
No, but you started off beautifully.
Okay.
And this is the starting point that most atheists forget about. And I can see you're clued up because because you
Okay.
said it. I don't know why you believe.
Yes, I don't know why you in particular believe.
Because
Yeah.
and you understood what the word belief. You know what the word belief means, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not like a Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's like, oh, I don't believe anything. Science isn't.
No, but you know what
there's
belief
no
is.
such thing as
No,
belief.
do you know what belief is?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah.
What's a belief?
It's like a belief is a kind of affirmative attitude towards a proposition, right?
He keeps using academic words.
Sorry.
No, I understood it. Basically, the acceptance of something to be true.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Yes,
Okay. So when you say I believe this to be true, you reason it.
Well, a belief doesn't have to be true, but you have to think it's true. But yeah.
No, but a belief can be true, isn't it? Without proof.
Yeah, a belief can be true, yeah.
Because it can be reasoned.
Well, yeah, sure.
Like, for example, shall I demonstrate it?
Yeah,
Do you believe your father's your father?
yeah.
Why?
Can
you
tells
prove
me testimony.
You can prove it?
I can't prove it.
So you don't-
Proofs are very strict.
Okay. So do you know he's your father or believe he's your father?
I believe it on the basis of testimony. That he's
So
my
you
father.
believe it, but you don't know.
Yeah.
But you don't know.
Oh, I do know it. Yeah. I do
You don't know it?
I think I do know it.
How do you know it?
Well, so this is so I teach philosophy, right? And this is the thing.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So this is the thing that students often say is that they come in thinking that knowledge requires certainty. No. Knowledge just merely requires like reasonable justification. And I think
What's the difference between knowledge and belief?
Can I ask a dumb question? Just a dumb question, right? So we have.
we've bored everyone though. They
Yeah,
all
we
fucked
did.
off.
So,
Except this guy.
the classical definition of knowledge that we get from Aristotle, true justified belief. Do you
Yeah.
subscribe to that?
No.
Okay. Is it because of the Gettier
Yeah,
issue? Okay, fine. So, are you a knowledge first epistemologist?
What does that mean?
You know, Timothy Williamson, where he begins off with that, he challenges this notion that, you know, the broken clock example, Gettier's issues, that you true
I know about
justified.
Gettier. I don't know about the broken clock. Sort of rings a bell, but I don't know it.
Okay. So you can have a belief which is justified, which is true, and you believe it, and it's false.
Yeah. Gettier cases. Yeah.
Gettier
That's basically
cases,
yeah,
right?
sure.
So when you say knowledge doesn't require certainty, which
no.
definition of knowledge are you using?
So basically on all of them, I think any reasonable definition of knowledge, it merely requires justification, and justification isn't always kind of like the standard of deductive or mathematical.
So what's the
proof.
difference between belief and knowledge?
Belief? Well, so a belief, you can have a belief that is justified by like nothing, right? But knowledge has to be justified and also has to be true. A belief doesn't have to be true. You can have a false belief.
No, we know that.
So the
We know.
classical definition, you disagree with that because of Gettier's issues. What's your definition of knowledge then?
I don't think I really have one. I don't think
Okay.
I really have one. But I have sufficient conditions, right? Like it.
I feel like I just need to cut to the chase.
I-
Where
true
does the
belief-
information in DNA come from?
Where does the information come from?
How did you use
I don't know, like wherever DNA comes from.
Okay. In your human experience, whenever you see coded information, where's it from?
It's gone really well.
There's information literally everywhere all
No,
the time.
coded information.
What does coded mean?
But now I'm not on internet.
Organized, designed, like blueprints to a building.
That's just what information is.
Is there a difference between information and coded information?
I've never heard someone. I mean, presumably what you mean by coded is in some kind of
coded-
language. That's
yeah.
what it makes it sound like. But,
Yeah, I mean-
but things can have
One second,
information
one second,
content,
one
not
second.
language.
I don't understand the question, sorry.
So I'm asking him about the information in DNA. Where does it come from? He says he doesn't know.
Okay.
So then I'm asking him, according to his human experience, whenever he sees information, coded information, what's its source? He's arguing semantics on the term information, coded information, as if there's a difference between that and information. Do I need to say coded
I just don't really
information?
know what it means.
It doesn't really matter. I mean, the question's the same thing. What is the inference to the best explanation for the DNA?
No, don't go there yet.
Okay.
What we're establishing right now,
I thought you were wearing a MAGA hat for a second.
Yeah, I didn't.
what we're establishing is
Yeah.
what is coded information when we're talking about. I say coded information, like blueprints to a building, like a flower arranged "Welcome to London." And no one's going to look at a flower arrangement that says "Welcome to London" and think, "Oh, birds have accidentally dropped seeds into that."
Yeah.
We know.
It's the same as the thing with the coat, though. Were you there for that?
Don't worry about that.
Okay, it's the same thing.
No, I heard
It is
about the
about
code.
the
No, it's not. I'll explain why it's not. I'll explain why it's not.
Fine.
Okay, so this is coded information. Blueprints to a building is coded information.
Okay.
Agreed on
What's not coded information? Like non-coded but nonetheless information. What's that? That would help me get a grip of the concept.
Okay, I would say salt.
My definition of, because I don't want to get into information theory and all the rest of that malarkey.
Right.
My very clear definition of information requires intentionality, specified
Yes.
complexity.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my definition.
Yeah.
However, I know there's other definitions which may
Yeah.
concur with this.
Yeah. So then I would just say I'm no biology expert, not by any stretch.
No.
Physics is my
Leave
thing.
DNA alone.
Huh?
You keep going
Leave
to
DNA
DNA.
alone.
Yes.
You brought it up.
No. I asked you that original question,
Sure.
and you said you don't know, and I left it there. Then I moved away from that because that's something you don't know. So I moved from things you don't know to things you do know.
Okay.
See the difference?
Yeah.
So I'm not asking you now to guess or go to the gaps or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I'm asking you now the same type of information that we find in DNA. I'll give you an example. Bill Gates said it beautifully. He says the coded information in DNA is the equivalent of a computer program,
Sure.
but much, much more advanced than we could ever imagine. Okay. So that's how Bill Gates described that information.
Yeah.
So we're talking about, when I say coded information, I'm talking, like I say, welcome to London flower arrangement. I'm talking about blueprints to a building. I'm talking about computer program. I'm talking about AI. Every time we see this coded, this type of information, which is the same type of information in DNA, have you ever come across a time when it's never sourced by intelligence?
Yeah. I have. Yeah.
Give me an example.
So I mean, if you have a gas in a box, there's information in there in a genuine, like, real physical sense in the box. Like,
1 second. It's good you're doing this.
like
I feel.
I mean, you know, who built the box? But like,
I feel like waffling.
there's
It's
I'm
not.
not waffling.
I feel you are.
No, I'm not. Look,
No, I think you are.
So you know,
1
there's
second.
a bunch of particles in a box,
1 second.
right? A bunch of atoms in a box.
How did they get in the box?
Well, yeah. I mean, so it does kind of just reduce. To
I'm just
the jacket. Thing.
I'm talking about things you know that contain this type of information. Is there any time when it isn't sourced by something intelligent? It's
Yes.
a simple question.
Yes.
Right.
There's
Give me
physical
the example.
Physical systems have information come in them all the time, everywhere, all the time.
No, coded
So
information.
for example, right, you have a gas in like a region of space. Let's imagine it's not a box, because that does make it sound like it's a designer, right? It's just a gas, like a nebula floating around. It's got like a bajillion particles.
You're
floating
doing it
around.
again.
No.
No, listen to what I'm saying to you, please.
How do you know that what I'm saying isn't relevant?
Because
You
you're
don't let me
ignoring what I'm
finish.
saying. I'll tell you the difference.
You have to let me finish, otherwise you won't know if what I'm saying is relevant.
Are you talking about things you don't know or know?
I know this is true, right?
So you know there's a gas in the galaxy.
Well, I know that if there's a gas.
No.
right,
That's not what you know then, is it?
Yeah, I know a conditional statement, which is
No. I'm not interested in hypothetical situations. I'm interested in what you
There
know.
are gases in the
Based
universe.
upon your human
fine.
experience.
Fine. The air, right, in this region, kind of loosely speaking,
This
defined,
air.
Yeah, defined by Hyde Park, right?
Yeah.
There's a number of air molecules. I mean, let's imagine they're all sort of the same. And you need, depending on how you count, you need roughly 6 or 7 numbers times the number of particles in the air to specify the physical state of the air.
And how do you
in
know?
Hyde Park,
And how do you
right?
know? How do
That's
you?
a lot of information. That's information. that's
And
built into
how do you know
of the
that's?
gas.
And how do you know that's not the result of intelligence?
Well, I don't. I guess.
Right. So I didn't ask you
People
about things you don't know. I asked you about things you do know.
Well, so people can put gases in places. I mean, in the case
No,
of
no,
Hyde, in
I'm
the case
asking-
of Hyde Park in particular, right?
That would be intelligence again.
In the case of Hyde Park in particular, there is a
Right
theory-
now, he's trying to demonstrate to me.
There is a
Whenever
theory-
there's coded information, it's sourced by something not
there is a
intelligent.
theory about how it is the atmosphere formed.
And all they keep-
that's why the air is here. That's why the air is here.
No. You do. I'll say it again. You just explained something, and then you said, "Well, you don't know." All right. Listen to my question. Things you do know. So I want you to know of something, not don't know about it. I want you to tell me something you do know that contains coded information that's source isn't intelligent.
Yeah, so I misspoke. I think there's very good reason to believe that the air in Hyde Park was not put there by an intelligence, but it has information in it.
Well, that's not what you know, is it?
It is. I know that. I think I know.
How
that.
do you know it? Prove it.
So there's very good, like, kind of geological evidence
No,
to.
this is what I don't know.
Well, I mean, if knowledge requires like this absolute standard of deductive proof, then yes, I don't know.
No,
it,
what
but
it,
that's not
Joe,
what knowledge means.
Joe.
Like,
I'm asking you about things you know, and you keep going to abstract things you don't know.
no, I know that this is
Can-
true.
can-
I know that it's true.
How?
I know that it's true.
How do you know it's
Very
true?
well confirmed geological.
What's your
theories.
justification is true?
There are very well confirmed geological theories about the formation of the atmosphere that have
What?
it that it was a natural process.
How do they
that
know it's true?
created the air.
How do they know it's true?
By looking at evidence. Like, I generally trust what geologists have to say about how air comes about. What's wrong with that?
Oh, okay. Would you agree with him that the air is
Why do
coded
you keep
information?
trying to get him to
No,
argue?
I'll explain why.
Come on, man.
No.
I like it to be one-on-one, or else it gets confusing.
No. And the reason I come to
I
you...
don't mind.
No. Because what I'm doing, I'm developing my argument, right?
Sure.
I think if you remember when I
I don't
prefaced...
like disagreeing with someone wearing a Palestinian scarf as well.
I know.
That-
The thing is, I prefaced my conversation with you that this particular argument I have steamrolls everyone. Okay.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
I prefaced it.
Is it the information?
This is it. You're
I don't
actually getting
feel- I don't
steamrolled.
feel steamrolled.
No. I know you don't. You're an atheist.
I don't feel.
I know you don't. The point is this.
There's information in everything.
No.
dog. Like, I don't know what to tell
Look,
you.
here's the thing, you see. You might not feel you're getting steamrolled. People around...
Normally, if you're getting steamrolled, you feel it. But
Joe,
yeah.
no,
Alright.
Joe. I'll say it again. Look, my argument steamrolls. I want pushback.
I'm pushing back.
Yeah, but it's terrible.
What's
All
wrong with
right?
it?
Because I keep asking you a question to tell me something you know, and you keep telling me things you don't know. And that tells me you're either, there's nothing you know of that isn't sourced by intelligence, and now you're scrabbling in the rocks trying to find something,
Yeah.
rather than just saying, you know what, swallow it.
Thing is, I'm actually not scrambling
Joe,
because
Joe,
I
you
literally
are.
said literally any physical system has information in it.
Okay, so this is when I came to you. Yeah? My teacher. When we talk about information. And I'm talking about the type of information.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah? So I'm trying to establish the dichotomy between the type of information that we're referring to in, like, for example, flower arrangement, blueprints, computer program, book,
Yeah.
to salt or a rock
Yeah.
or
it's all got information.
a puddle.
It's all got information.
Okay. This is what I'm referring to. Is, for example, the what did you say? Gases. What did you say?
Yeah. Dude, you can. I promise
I'm
you,
trying-
you can use any.
Okay, if I'm to... Look, you know this as a philosophy teacher. Sometimes it's better to slow down
Yeah.
and start defining terms.
Yeah, sure.
So I think maybe something that will help is, do you believe that there is specified complexity in biological organisms?
So, I don't. So a minute ago, you said that you define specified complexity in such. He wants to know what your question was.
Sorry,
So I'm saying, so that we can slow down and establish some things we agree about. I'm asking Joe if he agrees in biological organisms we have specified complexity. I'm asking him a question.
Yeah. So look. So I've heard this term used before, even before you used it a minute ago. And to be honest with you, I can't remember how it's defined. That being said, earlier you said you define it in such a way, basically, like by definition, that means that an agent has to intentionally put it there. And if that's what it means, then I don't think it's there.
So it's
just
okay.
purely on that basis.
So if we define it to include an agent or include some form of teleology, design, functionality, whatever, then it becomes a truism, and it's a circular reasoning,
is.
right? And I don't do it that way.
it does sound like you did it.
No.
Well, earlier you said that you
No.
define it
I
in
said the
such a way-
best explanation of specified complexity is an agent.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a difference. It's not within the definition of specified complexity that you have to have an agent.
Specified information, whatever it is you said.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between information and specified information?
So I believe all information is specified complexity.
Okay.
So as an example,
Then same answer I gave this guy.
yeah. So
Sorry,
on that grass, it says Joe's wearing a red jacket.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that's from leaves that have fallen. Okay. So here we have something which is complex. Each leaf is complex, but it's specified.
Okay.
It's not random.
Yeah. Sure.
What is the best explanation? By the way, what is the best explanation of that specified complexity? It doesn't automatically mean that I'm inferring a designer. Now it's up to us to have a
Yes,
contest
it's
of
not,
inference,
it's not built in by definition. Yeah,
which is
sure.
why it's not circular. Okay, now let's have
okay,
that discussion.
Well, so I still can't really figure out what the difference is between information and specified information, right? But
No, okay, my definition of information is specified complexity.
yeah. So you would. So look, this is just. It simply is just the watchmaker argument. It is. It's just the same thing. like the watch has specified information in it, right? And so we have to infer that there's an agent there. It's literally exactly the same. So the answer is exactly the same. It's the answer I gave to the guy earlier, which I think, to be fair, was before you turned up, which is, you know that the leaves, if they fell in such a way that it spelled out a sentence like the one you just uttered, would have to come from a person, because you know, based on background facts about the physics of the air and leaves and aerodynamics and shit like that, that it's very, very unlikely that the leaves would fall and just kind of by themselves settle into that position. You know things about the context in which the thing happened, right? You don't have that for the universe.
Yeah.
The universe is its own context.
So this is the frame of reference fallacy that I was referring to earlier.
Yeah, explain it again.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was.
So if we have a mobile phone in the desert,
Yeah.
and I pick it up, I know it's designed because even though all of the components, the plastic, the metal, the sand, the glass, it all came together randomly, all the components to make the mobile phone are there. I know iPhone exists, I know Samsung exists, I know engineers exist, but we can't...
You also know things about like the physics of rocks and desert. You know what I mean? Like it's lots of stuff.
Yeah,
like, yeah.
So that's your basic contention,
Yeah.
right?
That's how.
And what I'm doing is I'm challenging that, and I'm saying that if, for example, we go to the moon, and we're digging on the moon, and we find things put together which we do not know about an alien civilization. We have no other ability to detect the background information of how this thing came about. But there is...
But the point...
Okay, sorry, 1 second. There is a level of teleology. There's a level of design and precision and functionality. There's a level that cannot simply be explained away by the laws of nature acting upon the materials.
So
even though we don't have a frame of reference.
Yeah. So,
that's why I disagree.
So if you really genuinely lack a frame of reference, right? I know you used the example of the moon. It's merely an example. I get that, but I think it's worth reflecting on the fact that even when they went to the moon, like they knew a lot of shit about what was going to be on the moon. Not everything, but they knew a lot. If you literally lacked a frame of reference for making the kind of inference I described with the leap, then yeah, you will not be able to infer in any reliable or way that makes any sense that the thing you're looking at is designed. Like, how would you?
So I would make the inference that the best explanation is a form of a designer, an agent, or someone with a mind. Because of the complexity of what I see. It is specified, it functions, it's designed. But that's an assumption.
Well,
that's an assumption.
So both of us can like argue circularly here, right? Where I look around and I go like, this wasn't.
Okay.
Things you know, not things you're guessing.
Okay, so let me.
I think I know.
Okay. So let's put it this way. Let's put it this way.
You presuppose things.
Do we agree that there is specified complexity in biological organisms?
As best I can tell from what you're saying about what specified complexity means, or specified information, or whatever, because you're going back and forth. I assume they should mean the same thing. Yes.
Yes. Okay, good. Now, once you have this piece of data, two people can come to two different inferences based upon their worldview. For example, James Watson and Francis Crick, when they discovered the double helix structure of DNA, they had to decide, where did this come from? Now, Francis Crick, he was a naturalist. He believed consciousness was an illusion. He believed in everything being explained by time, space, matter, and energy. What he said is that the DNA is possibly explained by an advanced alien civilization that seeded life on Earth. I grant him it's coherent. I don't deny that. I grant him it's coherent. However, the reason he came with that inference is because he is a naturalist. From his naturalistic perspective, he's pushing the question to another civilization. Now, when Richard Dawkins was asked about this, he said, well, that's a potential answer. And then when he was asked, where did that civilization come from? Then it's the same thing, right? This goes back to the same thing.
Yeah.
However, me as a theist...
It doesn't necessarily, but I get your point.
Okay.
I mean, it's not.
But
the explanation's not that good at that stage.
Okay, but it's coherent.
Yeah.
From their perspective. However, if someone doubts naturalism, say they don't believe in God, but they doubt naturalism, their epistemic toolkit is wider. So now they have two possibilities. Either it's due to an alien civilization, or it's due to some supernatural force. And both of these are possible inferences. Do you agree they're possible inferences? Okay.
I never deny the possibility. Well, actually, maybe depending on how you define God, maybe I would deny the possibility.
Okay, I didn't say God.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I didn't say God.
Yeah. So if it's not God, it's just some kind of supernatural agent. Then
Okay.
yeah.
Are you aware of the Islamic concept of God, by the way?
No. Yeah. I don't know. I
Okay.
don't know.
Since you teach philosophy, you're going to be teaching philosophy of religion, right?
I actually don't. No.
What type of philosophy do you teach?
I've taught various different things. So I taught a formal logic module. I taught. I'm teaching free will at the moment. I taught political philosophy.
So, you're eventually going to delve into philosophy of religion.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
all
I have a
people
little
do.
bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you do that, you'll understand that the Islamic concept of God is not the standard understanding of God that people usually have, especially in this country. So God is not physical. God is not within space, time, matter, energy, completely transcendent. So often when people speak about God, there's a very...
religions believe that.
Sorry?
All the Abrahamic religions share that.
Well, for example, some of the branches, they would describe God in an anthropomorphic way, which we deny.
Yeah, sure.
They would say things like God rests, which we deny, right? So when I say a spiritual entity, I'm not going that far. I'm just saying there's some spiritual entity. Now, of these two inferences, you're taking the inference of Francis Crick, or not Francis Crick, you're taking a naturalistic inference, okay? I'm taking a inference to do with a supernatural entity. Now the contest is, whose view is more justified? Do you agree where we are so far?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Why do you think my view is incoherent?
I don't think it's incoherent.
Okay, you don't.
I
Okay,
think it's
okay, so I misunderstood you. I thought you said my view was incoherent.
incoherent.
Okay,
No,
good.
I just think it's not likely to be true.
Okay. So now I'll ask you, if I was to put to you that I think your view is less justified than mine, I'm going to ramp up my argument against it, but for now, less justified, based on the fact that it is very unlikely that we have a naturalistic explanation because of the level of specified complexity. It's not Leaves saying Joe is a great guy who's wearing a red jacket. It's DNA that can be read from left to right and 3D, and all of this complexity which explains our structure, our behavior, our ability to reason. All of these things for me jump out and call out for an inference which makes much more sense in my worldview of there being a supernatural creator.
Yeah, I mean, so it's kind of, it does actually tie into the thing I said earlier about how I think that rationality is quite a thin, like standard or whatever, right? Which is that, like, obviously, if you're a Muslim already, then yeah, it kind of is rational for you to think that, I suppose. I mean, maybe, at least. But so, why is it? So the sheer amount of information in it makes it unlikely. Is that the point?
The level of specified complexity makes it highly unlikely that such a thing could be best explained by the laws of nature and time, space,
Why
matter,
is that?
energy. Simply because in our human experience, we have seen specified complexity as the result of the mind. Now I'm going to add something in here. Which you may not have considered about my worldview.
Yeah, I deny that thing about it being a result of the mind. By the way, like
You deny what? Sorry.
so you said that when we see specified complexities, and again, I just want to reiterate, I'm basically just interpreting you as talking about information. in
Sure.
general. That it's the result of the mind. I deny that.
Give an example of one thing you know of.
Okay.
I will keep.
Oh, okay.
I promise you, I will. No matter how many times you ask, I will.
I want to give you one thing. I want to give you one thing about my worldview which you're going to disagree with.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I do not believe that the belief in God should be only inferred from nature. I start off with the belief there is a God.
Yes.
That's my worldview. Okay. Do you think that's coherent?
It's coherent. I wouldn't do it myself, but it's not my cup of tea.
But you're maybe a naturalist, so you start on the other spectrum, on the other end.
I don't think I start with naturalism. No, I don't think.
But we have to start with some form of metaphysics, right?
I don't think you do have to start with the metaphysics, really. No, I don't think you do.
But
I mean,
it's
like,
hard to have a perspectiveless perspective.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically, the tack I'll take here is I think that you start with seemings, the way that things seem to be, and you work backwards to a metaphysics, and then you use your metaphysics sometimes to infer.
Okay, so you build metaphysics on empiricism.
I mean, not necessarily.
I disagree with that
Not
totally.
necessarily empiricism. So when I say the way things seem to be, I don't just mean empirically, the way they seem to be, but like
Conceptually.
So So for example, it seems to be true that 1 + 1 = 2, right? That's not. And as you said earlier, it also seems that is not an empirically discerned truth.
So you're only speaking about concepts and building your worldview by starting off with concepts, and if those concepts are coherent, and then applying that to the world. I'm a bit confused about where you, because I'm very clear. I start off with God.
Yeah. I think that.
Most atheists I speak to say we start off with the brute fact of nature.
Right. Okay. Well, look. I mean, I can't account for what most atheists say.
Because you're sort of slipping into solipsism.
No, I'm not. I was thinking. I don't think so.
The funny thing is,
Because you said you build metaphysics.
Yeah. So,
From the world.
But the seemings can basically be anything, right? Like and one of the things that seems true is that there are other minds.
Okay. Well, okay. Just on that, when you say it seems there are other minds, do you mean other minds in an immaterial sense?
No.
You don't.
No, it's in the same sense that my own mind exists, which I'm a physicalist, so I guess I just.
Okay, so there are no such thing as immaterial minds. It's the illusion of having a mind.
Yeah.
So that's not really a metaphysics there, is it? That's that's physicalist assumption.
Yeah, well, I mean, the word metaphysics doesn't have to mean supernatural stuff. Like,
No, it doesn't.
you can have a materialist.
It doesn't. But it means non-physical.
That's
Non-physical doesn't necessarily mean.
just not how I'm using the word. So, like, the way that I'm using the word metaphysics, like, to have a metaphysics is just to have some kind of view about the way that the world is structured or something like that.
Sure.
Which almost means nothing, right? Like, it's very, like, do you know what I mean? Like, the word metaphysics means very little, but
But
I don't know. So what's the relevance
I'm
here?
trying to understand. You said you're a coherentist.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, about
Okay.
justification, about meaning,
So-
probably as well. Yeah.
You do not build your worldview starting off with clear axioms,
Yeah, no. There's a big old circle that basically is happening.
as long as it coheres.
Yeah, I mean the analogy that gets used sometimes is like repair. It's like pieces of shit where you restructure.
Yeah.
Repair it.
So
reconstruct
are you
it as you go? Right?
So are you a pragmatic coherentist? It's about how you experience the world and then you reconstruct your metaphysics.
Yeah. I mean, see, like so in the analogy that Quine uses, you have your kind of core beliefs and your peripheral beliefs, and the core ones are kind of like what you would describe as the foundation.
So like you have a web,
Yeah.
and as you're going inside of the web, you get mathematics,
Yeah,
and then
like your really basic physical
and,
principles you believe in.
and then you get logic inside of that. Okay,
all that good
okay.
stuff.
So the kernel that you agree with, that you know for certain, what is it?
Well, but the whole point of the web analogy, right, is that there's a center, but there's no foundation. So
Yeah.
you can kind of reform the center without literally destroying the structure. of the whole web.
But not you can't challenge the laws of logic.
You
That's
can.
right in the center.
You can, yeah, I think you
That's pretty extreme.
I think you can, yeah. I mean, I believe in them, but I think you can challenge them. So, like,
So what would you? So let's just say right in the core, right in the center, the world is real.
yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
can that be challenged?
Yeah.
Solipsism.
I don't know. It could be challenged.
We're back.
I believe it, but it can be
Okay,
challenged.
how would you challenge it?
Uh,
I think it's impossible to challenge.
yeah, well, I think it's very difficult to challenge. I'm not denying that, but like,
I'm saying it's impossible. There's a difference.
Can I start calling him
I
Matt?
don't really
mate?
get why. Huh?
Can I start calling him Matt?
Matt? Why?
Matt Delhanty.
Oh, right.
Sure he's on
Oh, fuck's sake. Yeah.
So this is the point at which we're gonna divert completely because
What does Matt Delhanty say about it?
okay. To be honest, he's not coherent. He's not
Matt's a very
coherent.
nice guy, but he says mistaken
He's
stuff.
not coherent.
Yeah.
No, if his own reality is true, and if anyone else can have their reality.
He's shifted his position too many times.
Well,
But
you
look,
have to change your mind.
Look,
about it, yeah.
I want to challenge you on this, right? You're saying we can challenge the idea that the world is real. So I want you to give me a reason for us to doubt it.
Well, so what I'll do is I'll give you the broad reasons why I think the world is real, and then the challenge that could come is if someone denied the evidence. No. So I think that I basically think that the kind of regularity that we experience in many different ways, we experience regularities, right? Whether that be like physical regularities or regularities in the way people behave and like personalities and stuff like that. just the best way to explain it in the standard kind of inference of the best explanation way is by appealing to external objects. If it was the case that your experience of the world this is possible, it's very unlikely it doesn't happen. I grant you that. But it's possible that every single regularity or like regular feature and structure of your experience just fucking goes away. In which case, my experience of coherent individual people and objects and like the world over time and stuff like that, all of that goes away, and I can't get a grasp of which things I think are caused by objects anymore. Versus, like, there's no distinction I can make between hallucinations of my own mind and actual objects in the world, because my experience of the world is so fucked up, right? That is the sort of case where I might doubt that there's an external world, but that's not what's happening. So I don't. So
But
I
there
do
is,
believe in
but,
external
look,
world.
but there is an I.
You're nodding, right? That makes sense, right?
There is an I. You do use I.
Yeah.
So you know that
can
you
even
exist.
experience some kind of ego death, right? I mean, I've
Okay.
done it before. It's,
Sure.
it's pretty crazy.
So when you say I,
Yeah.
you believe you do exist as a conscious being.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the world is real for you.
That part of the world, at least. But normally, when people talk about an external world, it's this other stuff as well, not just.
Okay.
stuff.
So even if you're a brain in a vat, the vat is within a world.
Yeah. So So
It doesn't end.
Yeah. So.
That's why I'm saying it's incoherent to challenge the idea that the world is real.
Yeah. So. Maybe. I mean.
What do you think of Descartes' meditations then, when he builds
Well,
a
yes.
worldview starting with these first principles?
Sorry, really quick. To go back to the brain in the back page, just having to think about it. So there is this thing that David Chalmers has said before. He wrote a book about like simulations or something, and the point he made, which I think is basically correct.
The hard problem.
Huh?
The hard problem?
No. It's a different thing. He basically said that it was like a book about virtual reality or something. He basically said that if you were, say, like a brain in a vat hooked up to a computer that stimulates your neurons and kind of simulates experiences of people and things and objects and laws of physics and things, that in a sense, basically everything you're experiencing is actually real. It's just that the fundamental nature of the things you're experiencing is different to what you thought it was. You thought it bottomed out at like atoms and particles and things like that, but actually it bottoms out in like, facts about the hard drive and CPU and RAM of a computer that your brain is hooked up to. The objects are all there, but they're in the hard drive, right? They're in the hard drive, they're in the RAM.
That's a non sequitur though.
No.
doesn't-
I'm actually agreeing with you. I'm saying that
Yeah.
there's a sense in which you really are tapped into an external world, even if you're a brain in a vat.
That's my point.
Yeah, but the thing is, so the thing about the brain in the vat thing is that you do still end up losing the notion of like external minds. Unless
the world is real. But the world is real.
Unless you had a supercomputer, because it's a hypothetical, right? You can imagine it's as powerful as we like. And obviously you're going to disagree with this because you're not a physicalist. But if you were a physicalist like I am, and you thought that in principle a computer could simulate a brain or a mind so perfectly that it just is a mind, then you could have a supercomputer that simulates everything basically to the amount of detail that you think it really exists, and also simulates the other minds to the extent that there just actually are other minds in the computer. Basically what you've got there is a situation in which everything you believe is actually true, the fundamental nature of it is just different to what you thought it was.
That scenario seems to have an assumption about consciousness, which is a material assumption.
Yeah, it does. But anyways,
So,
the thing is, we were originally talking about the
no,
external world or whatever.
no.
This might not be
But
relevant.
do you see why that's a very problematic scenario for someone like me who doesn't believe in that material assumption of consciousness? That may work for you, but it wouldn't work for
sure.
me.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
So it's not. So you haven't provided an argument. You've
I
simply.
was actually agreeing. That was me kind of agreeing with this, the thing you said about the brain and the vat. Like, actually,
Because what I feel what you're doing is you're restating your position, but what I was looking for was something deeper. I was looking for a justification for doubting reality, and I don't think you have one.
no, I don't think there is one.
Okay,
think
that's
there
my
is-
point.
No,
That's my
but
point.
originally what you said was, is it possible to doubt it? What I sketched was a situation that we don't live in, right? Because I do believe in the external world, so I have to say that.
I said something stronger. I said it was incoherent. I mean, I believe it to be incoherent.
What's incoherent about the thing I said then, right? So like,
No, it's incoherent to doubt the world is real.
well, so
I am
so-
real.
Yeah. So the scenario I gave, right, where you're kind of basically like your sensory experience of the world is just like utter noise. Like it's just there's no way to discern signal from noise, right? Like in such a way that you could cobble together a notion that there are coherent objects that exist over time, have properties, so on and so forth. You said, but you still exist, so there is still a world, because if the world is just a collection of objects, then you... Yeah, I grant that, that's true. But normally, when people are talking about an external world, they're talking about the stuff other than that. When I was... So yeah, I don't know. And then also, if you do experience an ego death, I mean, it might be the case that you have that kind of completely noise, signalless experience of the world, including complete ego death. Including a complete ego death, in which case, yeah, you no longer believe in anything, right, because you don't exist.
I don't think we're disagreeing right now.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No. No. Yeah.
What are you doing, sorry?
How do you know this is a trustworthy
I think there's good reason. So, mate, look, really quick. Right, I would like to ask a question. We have to get around this thing, which is that justification does not have to provide certainty to give you knowledge. You can have uncertain but very likely knowledge.
Okay. So that would mean for me to say that I don't know of anything that contains information that isn't sourced by intelligence. You can't challenge it.
Why does that entail that? Sorry, I'm confused.
Because you have to demonstrate to me that there is something that contains information that isn't sourced by intelligence.
Yeah. So my example.
So
my example of the atmosphere around us, right, is an example that I know it. I claim to know it because there's justification to believe that it didn't come from intelligence.
No. What's the justification?
Well, like theories of geology and the formation of atmospheres. Like, there's no person that puts the atmosphere there.
You're positing there is no God.
Well, so if your argument here is like, well, what who put the laws of physics in? Who put the laws of physics in that the atmosphere obeys, like that? You're making a cosmological argument.
No, you are. Not at all. What I'm saying to you is this: I'm making a creation argument because even Richard Dawkins doesn't say there is no God. You just say he doesn't accept there's a God. Okay, but you just say you know that this is natural, wouldn't posit that there is no God.
You don't know that. I think it's a completely live option. I think it's a completely live option.
No, they don't know about it. They don't believe me.
I think I've got reason to believe. I mean, it depends how. So, and again, I'm not trying to be kind of avoidant here. It does depend how you define God. Like, it matters a lot. What do you mean by God? Of literally everything.
Of everything.
Could be everything.
So it could cause.
Could have. Yes.
There we go. Evidence that.
Well, mere possibility doesn't entail likelihood.
No, but when I ask you a question about things,
how can you not get this?
Okay.
Mere possibility does not entail likelihood.
What you're not getting is very, very simple. You don't know what created this theory.
I think I have a good reason to.
You don't know what believe.
I think I have good reason to believe it. So yeah, I do.
Can you find the cameraman? Because I need to give you the mic back. It's raining.
A theory of the world in which God doesn't exist is simpler and explains more.
No, what's your good reason to believe God?
That's the good reason. It's simpler. Better explanations that are simpler are better. You believe the better explanation. That's the one where God doesn't exist. So
he's not positing God doesn't exist. After saying he doesn't.
So I basically take the Graham Oppy type view, right, which is that you compare theories of the world, where theories are just like a total account.
Answer the question again. Could God exist? Could God exist?
You got to let me actually answer the question.
No, I don't allow this.
Huh?
Could God exist?
You say come on. I'm trying. What am I not doing?
You answer the question, then you say something completely contradictory. Okay. Could God exist?
Yes.
Could God have created this?
Yes.
So you don't know whether. You don't know whether.
Doesn't follow. That doesn't follow. Sorry.
No, but
I know you know it doesn't follow.
No.
I know.
Look, I think you two are using two different definitions. Because his definition of knowledge doesn't require certainty. Your definition does. That's why you're talking about cross
reference. I've literally said that like 100 times.
That's the standard way. No, I believe knowledge requires certainty. You believe it doesn't.
Why?
Because that's my definition of knowledge.
Okay, then by that contrived definition of knowledge that does not map
By the way,
to the ordinary use of the word knowledge.
It's not.
Yes, I don't know it.
Everyone's definition of knowledge is contrived.
No, it's not. It's not.
So what is the standard definition of knowledge? There is none.
Well, so it's
Stated I.
the
Standard definition.
God, man. Like, I get there's cameras, but like, we can have a conversation without all like the lame rhetoric and stuff. But look,
There's no agreed definition on knowledge.
Like you. When I,
Okay, wait. Complete your point. Complete your
have a go at me saying I while I start.
complete your
It's
point.
just rhetoric.
Complete it.
You don't know if I've ignored the question
Anyway,
because I haven't answered it yet.
let him complete his point. What's your point?
So I think there is a general usage of the word knowledge, and while I can't define it like necessary and sufficient conditions, I certainly do not think, not literally certainly, but I think there's very good reason to believe that the standardly accepted definition of knowledge does not require certainty for
Okay,
justification.
so I'll explain to you why I think my definition, which some people do subscribe to, makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Belief can be probabilistic.
Yep.
Knowledge,
Sorry.
when you make it certain, it's epistemically cleaner when you're having discussions.
Okay.
So, like, if I want to say I believe in something, I can leave an element of doubt. But when I say I know something, there is no doubt. So the definition of knowledge.
That's exactly the thing I deny, though.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I deny.
I know because your
Okay.
definition of knowledge is different.
Yeah.
Now, the standard definition, which existed before the Gettier issue, true justified belief, it doesn't have certainty in it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Justification can be inductive.
However, it is true though.
What is true, sorry?
Knowledge, the classical
why?
definition was that true justified belief.
Yeah.
So it's true,
Yes.
right? The definition that you subscribe to is that it doesn't have to be true.
No, the definition I subscribe to. So things can be true. So I don't think your justification has to be anything that you have deductive certainty in. It does have to be true. I mean, it can be the case, for example, that you can make a lucky guess, or it can be the case that you are unfortunately in a position where you have good reason to believe something, but you're so unlucky that it's not the case. Like luck does enter into knowledge, like it just does.
No. So I think that we're not talking about, say,
So, on your view, truth and justification, those two conditions just collapse into one. They're not different. Because if you believe that justification in that slightly weird, you must admit, definition of knowledge requires certainty, well, the certain deductive kind of inferences from premises that you know certainly as well will deliver truths certainly. So you have justification to believe the thing if and only if the thing's actually true. They're just the same condition.
Okay.
Justified to believe God exists based on DNA.
I think probably not. No.
Okay. I didn't quite
We're
get what
kind
you
of
said
going
there.
back round to a different.
But look,
Yeah, but I don't think you've addressed my argument.
my definition of knowledge is it has to be certain. If we speak about, for example, you spoke about where the element of luck or probability comes in.
Yeah.
That is going back to that classical example of a broken clock, right? So you believe in something, it's true that the time is 6 o'clock,
Yes,
and
right,
it's justified because
You looked at
you
the clock.
looked at
Yeah.
right? Is that knowledge? It's not knowledge.
That's a Gettier case, though. So, like,
Yeah, it is. So that's what
yeah,
I mean.
so-
So I reject that.
so
So how is that weird?
I'm not talking about Gettier cases. I'm talking about.
I'm trying to avoid them.
Yeah.
So how is my definition weird?
Well, because the standardly used definition of knowledge that everyone.
There is no standard.
There is and there isn't.
No,
Right?
there
So, I mean, it's
From a philosophical perspective,
yeah.
the definition of knowledge is highly contested.
It's actually not very content. The view that you've got, which is like infallibilism, is by far the minority in all of academic
Okay, so
philosophy. But that's not my argument.
okay,
Anyway. The fact
okay.
that it's a minority doesn't make
Okay,
it wrong.
okay.
So
So look, I interviewed Timothy Williamson on this, and he's
Yeah,
a
sure.
knowledge first epistemologist.
Yes.
Right. So when it comes to the view
always been a pleasure.
of
have a good one, mate.
the standard way, yeah, the standard way of defining knowledge, I find that very problematic. So I like to stick to something more certain. But that doesn't really matter as long as we both agree that we're using different
So here's the
definitions.
thing, though, right? Like, if you, fine, but if you have that definition that you're working with there, then even you, right? Even though a theist or whatever, like the most committed theist in the world, you can't for example, know that I have two legs?
I have.
You can't. You can't know that. The statement Joe has two legs, you can't know that. Because the reasons, if I ask someone, how do you know you have two legs? They would give me all sorts of justifications that are inductive. They would never be able to deduce it from premises that are themselves certain. It's not the kind of thing that you can know that way. And in fact, I'd wager that almost all of your knowledge is like that. Like so much of the things, many of the things you would standardly conceive of yourself as knowing, is things you know inductively.
So if I believe in Pythagoras,
how would you deductively?
Okay.
Sorry, yeah.
You know, it's best to slow down.
Yeah, sure.
If I was to say Pythagoras' theorem is true, and I know it,
Yeah.
what in the world could I observe that would undermine that theorem?
Well, I mean, if the theorem is just that it follows from the axioms of Euclidean geometry or whatever. I mean, as it turns out, physical space-time isn't Euclidean, so actually.
No, but a squared plus b squared is c squared. Or 1 plus 1 is 2. Let's just keep it simple.
Yeah.
What in the world could challenge that proposition?
I don't know. Maybe nothing. What's
Okay, my answer is nothing. My answer is nothing. Right. So my point is, I know something for certain that cannot be challenged inductively, because you said,
Yeah.
I suspect, and I don't want to put words in your mouth. You said, I suspect all your knowledge is inductive, and I disagree with you.
Well, I don't know. What I said was the vast majority. That's what I said.
Okay.
I was very.
I don't disagree that most of our knowledge is inductive.
But you can't believe in inductive knowledge by the definition of knowledge that you use.
No, I can.
No, you can't.
Of course I can.
No, you can't, because you can't be certain about
Okay,
things you
so-
reason inductively. You can't.
So just to
Basically, by definition, you
So
can't.
I want to explain my epistemology. I see a very clear need for inductive, abductive, and deductive conclusions.
Yeah.
And I see them all as part of my foundationalist worldview.
Yeah, sure.
I don't discount. I'm not somebody who said I won't believe in something just because it's inductive. I think it's irrational to do that.
Well, but you.
So why is my view incoherent?
So, if knowledge requires the justification that feeds into knowledge, it has to be the kind that gives you certain knowledge, right? It can't be inductive justification. It can't be. If you can't, based on that definition, you can't know things that are justified purely on the basis of induction, such as the belief that you have two legs. You can't deduce that from certain premises. You just can't.
Okay, but you can say you believe in those things.
But you know them as well, don't you?
No, so I believe there's only very few things we know.
Okay.
When it comes to absolute knowledge,
Yeah.
like from my worldview, we can even believe in, for example, the idea that creation hypothetically is being continuously created. So it's not like the view that there are true secondary causes, like the view that was held by Aristotle.
Okay.
From my perspective, it's possible that reality is regenerated every single second, and it's also possible that this moment we have inbuilt memories of things which are hundreds of years old or dozens of years old, but were just inbuilt in our minds.
Yeah.
I don't think any of those things are incoherent from my perspective.
Okay, but you
so
also-
I don't need to. No, okay.
Was it
I
so-
don't need to deny something because it's purely inductive. I can simply say I believe it to be true.
Based on that knowledge, based on that definition of knowledge, you have to say you don't know it. That's my point.
No.
And so, but wait, really quick. Remember, the reason I started bringing up the two legs examples, right, was that I basically.
But I can't say I know God. I can say I know God.
Okay, fine,
I
fine.
know the law of non-contradiction.
Yeah, sure,
I know
fine,
the principle of sufficient reason. By the way, you previously said the simple explanation, the best explanation, Occam's razor. I disagree with that as a principle. So I also was wondering if you're gonna deny the principle of sufficient reason, which is strong, and you're going to propose Occam's razor, which is weaker, which is based on empirical data. Like, why would you deny this and accept that?
We're changing subject a bit. I just want to be clear.
But I was a bit confused about it.
Yeah, fine. I'll answer if you want. But my original claim was that way you're using the word knowledge, and also it was the other guy that was here. I forget his name.
Mansoor.
I don't want to speak about him while he's not here. That's not fair. But his weird, slightly whack definition of knowledge, as far as I'm concerned, it was kind of his fault you had to defend this. But
No, you two had two different definitions.
yeah. But so my point was that way of talking about knowledge is absolutely not the way it is normally spoken about with people, like the way what the word knowledge means
It's highly
in standard
contested.
English.
It's highly contested, though. Knowledge.
No, but some features of it are not. So, for example, every competent English speaker here, which I assume most people here are, if you ask them, do you know you have two legs? They'd go, obviously yes, what are you talking about? And then if you ask for the justification, it would be inductive, which means the standard usage of the word knowledge in English by competent English speakers does not require a level of justification that delivers certainty. It just doesn't.
Okay.
This is a very weird...
No.
This is what I mean when I say your definition is contrived.
So I was not using knowledge the way it's used by the layman.
Well, then you have to tell me that ahead of time.
No, which is
You
why
have to tell me that ahead of time.
which is why I gave you a philosophical definition. You and I both know, as people who study philosophy, most of the common language that we use can be misleading. So
yeah.
when you bring it in, when you import it in philosophical terms, for example, fact.
I mean, it certainly needs to be sharpened up. I wouldn't say it's always misleading, or mostly misleading.
Okay, so for example,
really dangerous.
I'll give you a classical example: the selfish gene.
Okay.
Right? So there's teleological language being used,
Yes.
language of functionality, language of agency.
Yeah, but I think the selfishness thing is just metaphor.
Of course, but that's
yeah.
not the way it's perceived in public, is it? People actually say that's the selfish gene, and this
I don't know if it,
like
yeah, maybe.
they give it an anthropomorphic element, a color.
I mean, if I've never
So
read that book.
this is why we need to.
I've never read that book, but
Yeah.
if Richard Dawkins doesn't, if he makes out that there is a sense in which a gene is literally selfish, in the same way that people are selfish, then I would say he might have fucked up a little bit.
He was refuted. By the way, he was refuted on this because you know Mary Midgley.
That name rings a bell, but,
Yeah.
but
So she was a very famous philosopher, passed away a few years ago, and she famously refuted him on this point that he was guilty of double speak. He was using it in certain contexts, and in other contexts he was using it in other ways.
Yeah.
So I'm saying the way the public understands it is misleading. So that's why, as people with a philosophy background, we have to use terms and define them clearly.
Yeah, but you also have to use terms, like you have to sometimes use terms in ways that they are ordinarily used. Because like when you define what a term like knowledge means, you define it in terms of other terms. And then if you want to try and define those, you define those in terms of other terms. And eventually you sort of bottom out. And you bottom out, if you're going to bottom out on some like concepts or bits of terminology, you better bottom out on bits of terminology that you have a shared understanding of. I.e. is the kind of meaning that all of us just generally understand together, even if we can't define it precisely. Otherwise, you're just fucked and we can't communicate. Right?
This is why
Otherwise you can't communicate.
this is why you and Hamza are disagreeing as well. In the beginning, it's best to do academic throat clearing and just get everything sorted out, so you have a nice clinical discussion. Yeah, I think that's my cue.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Watch the cameras. Yeah, sorry. Carry on. We're back. I thought everything's gonna fly off.
Yeah. What do you speak to? Was I saying something? What was I saying?
What we both I think agreed about is that you have to clarify your terms before you start a discussion, or else it leads to confusion.
You can also kind of, it's thesis is shit, right? You can kind of prepare as you go a little bit, as long as both of you are okay with it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why, like, in these kind of like theist versus atheist like debate thing. I know you're like filming for your YouTube channel or whatever, right? So you're a part of it. But in
Guilty.
Yeah. In this kind of like sphere and culture or whatever, there's this
But
whole
you can still have good discussions.
No. Well, no, but sometimes the rhetoric gets used of like when someone uses a word in a sort of like imprecise way that they can't define with necessary sufficient conditions, but you kind of just reckon that both of you have a shared understanding of it. That's often picked on as like a really important weakness in the things that the person's saying. But it's not a really important weakness in the thing that the person's saying. Because you can tweak as you go, right? If it's collaborative, if the conversation's collaborative, you can tweak as you go.
I sympathize with you. But
He doesn't agree.
No, but the
I can
nuance.
tell.
Yeah, but the nuance is if that term is being used in a way that
It's very non-standard.
is leading to a particular argument.
Oh,
Right. So they're using it in a formal argument, and it's an imprecise term. It can lead to a lot of confusion.
It can.
Which is why-
But you do have to use. Yeah, you just have to do that sometimes, right?
But this is where you do the intellectual gymnastics, right? You go back and forth and stuff. But anyway, it's great speaking
Yeah,
to
we
you, Joe.
spoke for ages, mate. Yeah, it's nice speaking to you. I've seen your like some of your YouTube stuff. I did see the Professor Dave stuff. So I'm sorry about that.
Yeah,
I actually,
he keeps running away from future debates. I've asked him many times.
I would be really interested. interested to hear your side of that story because I do watch his stuff every now and again. And
So look,
I disagree with him about something.
let me give you an option here. I don't know you. I've just met you today.
Hey, maybe we know each other now.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But this wasn't staged, this live, whatever. How would you like to host it? Because this guy, he has trust issues. I'll be honest with you. When I set it up at the university, he claimed there was no event. I paid for his ticket. I paid for everything. And then he didn't send me the money
Okay,
back.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a whole bunch of mess. So you as a person, I trust you. And in fact, I was thinking of getting like another atheist who is like neither here nor there, who's just balanced. Because I want to do an in-person debate.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And
yeah.
it's very difficult because he's like got these massive trust issues. So
Yeah. So I teach at the University of York, not in London, so it's far away. Obviously, he's flying from the United States if he comes, so I guess it doesn't matter for him. Although York's very touristy.
okay, so
He'd
let
probably
me
enjoy it.
so let me give you a proposition.
I would endeavour to host it, but you would have to inform him about that.
Okay, no.
I could try and get.
no.
I could try and help host it.
Okay. How about this? I'll give you his email, and I'll give you the funds for everything,
Okay.
and you take care of the communication. Because this guy, I've been trying to debate him for almost a year and a half now.
Yeah, but I'm trying to. I want this. I would like this to happen. I think.
And
it'd
you
be
can
awesome.
host it.
I think it'd be awesome. Yeah. We could book a room out in the university, and I could contact like the different societies and stuff.
And I'm going to hold you to that. I'm going to take your number as well.
Yeah. You can do if you want. Yeah, you can do.
So you teach
Well, I don't
in the
get it.
philosophy department.
Yeah. That's a good right. But whether or not, I don't think it doesn't seem, based on what the videos I've seen, appears that it's likely that he will do it.
His entire argument is, I didn't set up a debate. That was all it was.
Do not want that to be seen on camera.
Sure.
Fucking hell.
Sure.
That fucking camera can see. Yeah, okay.
Here you go, guys. Yeah. We're going to start
People calling me up and being like, so what, you just think the air came out of nowhere? But yeah.
It was great speaking to you, though.
you
So
too,
I'll
mate.
give you a WhatsApp.
Give me a message and then I'll
Yeah,
say to you.
I'll give you a missed call. And if you can set it up, that'll be great.
Yeah, I mean, I'll email the guy.
Actually, shall I tell you where you could be helpful?
Really does seem like you're more likely to get through to him, even still, though. Do you know what I mean? So,
He does respond to emails.
okay.
No.
Where I can be helpful is what?
We usually go around universities hosting debates.
Yes.
And we need like a neutral chair.
Okay.
So it would be good.
Yeah, I'll share digitally. I'll check it out. Yeah, cool. Yeah. I can get the Islamic Society along.
yeah.
So,
Actually, I want to do it in a way that it's held by a neutral society, like a debating society or something.
Yeah, that we have debating societies. We can get the Philosophy Society there as well.
I'm
obviously,
actually-
they're all going to have opinions, right?
Yeah.
So, but
I want to bring down Matt Dillahunty as well.
Yeah. Mate, if you can get the funds to fly those people over, I will
The
endeavour.
funds are there. That's not difficult.
Yeah, okay.
That's not
I will
difficult.
endeavour to find a place and advertise things like that.
All right, good speaking to you.
Yeah, you too.
See you later.